Well, October is Filipino-American History Month. A lot of folks have sort of returned it in Filipino Heritage Month or Filipino History, so I get all confused. But the emphasis is the study of Filipinos here in the United States. 1587, October 18th, when Filipinos landed in Morro Bay as part of the Manila galleon trade from Manila to Acapulco, which started in 1565 till 1815, 250 years, man, that's 250 years of transporting 200 to 300 Filipinos each time, because many of them jumped ship when they got here. The Mayflower, 101 people only came one time. By the time the Mayflower in 1620 came to what is now the United States, there's conceivably 1,000 Filipinos running around wild in the West Coast already. So we've been here for a long time, and we're not new here. So we have a right to lay stakes and claim to this land just as much as any other immigrant, unless you're Native American. When people start talking about they need to have papers to come in here, you know, which is they themselves, who is dictating that law to be enacted, they themselves, their ancestors didn't have any papers when they came here. Those are the same people who are trying to say we all got to speak English and make English because that's the language of the country. You come here, you adapt to it. But they didn't have, their ancestors did not adapt to the Indian languages when they came here. So the double standard just bothers me all the time. And that's part of the double standard is their claim to we need to know each other's history. You know, as indigenous people, as immigrants, as people of color, and as people who have been powerless for centuries, and we need to know the reasons why, and we need to know how we are all related to each other, so that we can find that our struggle is really just one. So that when the divide and conquer tactic is sort of thrown to us, we'll know better.
Could you touch a little bit on the Philippine-American War? There was a book that came out recently that talked about the public relations campaign in favor of that war to justify taking over a sovereign country, and the parallels that exist between that war that happened so very long ago and the current war or invasion, illegal war in Iraq.
Yeah, the Philippine-American War is important in many different aspects. One is that if you really want to talk about Filipinos here in the United States, you really have to know and study the U.S.-Philippines War, because that's many things started from there. The second part is that the fact that the U.S. and the Philippines engaged in a war in 1899 reflects on the Vietnam. You know, if the public had in their conscience and in their consciousness, the U.S. public at the time of Vietnam in the 60s, late 50s, if they had the Philippine-American War in their history and in the public, we would never have gone to Vietnam, because that was the first Vietnam. Everything they did in Vietnam, they tried to do in the Philippine-American one, which is what they're doing again in Iraq.
Please come to Archipelago Books. It's on Mission Street between 6th and 7th. Marie, it's always nice to see you.
Same here. Thank you very much for coming, Tony.
Thank you. Thank you. Salamat.
Okay.